Rebecca Park was 22 years old, pregnant, and preparing for a future she believed was finally coming together. Friends described her as hopeful, determined, and deeply committed to becoming a mother. She spoke often about the baby she was carrying, about the life she wanted to build, and about the excitement and fear that came with it. No one who knew her imagined that the greatest danger she faced would come from inside her own family. What investigators would later uncover shocked even seasoned detectives. Not because violence itself was unfamiliar, but because of the intimacy of it, the betrayal, and the calculated nature of what authorities say unfolded. According to law enforcement, the case began with a missing person report. Rebecca had stopped responding to messages. She missed appointments. Family members gave conflicting explanations about her whereabouts. At first, nothing appeared overtly alarming, but as hours turned into days, concern grew. Police say their attention quickly focused on Rebecca's immediate family, particularly her mother and stepfather. Investigators noted inconsistencies in their statements, an unusual behavior that did not align with a family desperately searching for a missing loved one. As detectives pressed further, the story took a turn so disturbing it would later make national headlines. According to investigators, Rebecca was still alive when the attack began. Authorities allege that her mother confessed to restraining Rebecca and cutting her unborn child from her womb while Rebecca was conscious. Prosecutors emphasized that this was not a moment of panic or sudden violence, but an act that required planning, preparation, and intent. Investigators say the motive centered on the baby. Evidence presented by the state suggests that Rebecca's mother wanted the child for herself, allegedly planning to pass the newborn off as her own. Messages, internet searches, and witness statements reportedly showed a pattern of obsession with pregnancy and childbirth in the weeks leading up to the crime. Prosecutors say the plan went further. According to police, after the baby was removed, Rebecca was left critically injured, but alive. It was at this point investigators allege that her husband, Rebecca's stepfather, intervened. Authorities claim he then slit Rebecca's throat, killing her. The sheer brutality of that allegation stunned the public. Prosecutors described the act as deliberate, not impulsive, a final step to ensure Rebecca could not survive to expose what had been done. Emergency responders were later called, but by the time authorities arrived, Rebecca was dead. The unborn child did not survive. When questioned, investigators say Rebecca's mother initially attempted to present herself as a victim, claiming complications during pregnancy, claiming confusion, claiming desperation. But forensic evidence contradicted her version of events. Medical examiners determined that Rebecca could not have suffered the injuries naturally. The timeline did not add up. The wounds did not match accidental explanations. Under pressure, investigators say the mother confessed. Her husband was arrested shortly after. The case quickly became one of the most disturbing family violence investigations in recent memory. Prosecutors described it as a total collapse of maternal instinct, emphasizing that Rebecca's own mother, the person expected to protect her at all costs, allegedly orchestrated her death. As details emerged, public reaction was intense. Many struggled to comprehend how a mother could allegedly inflict such suffering on her own child. Others focused on the warning signs that, in hindsight, seemed painfully clear. Friends later recalled moments where Rebecca expressed fear, concerns about control, arguments about the baby. But like many victims of family manipulation, she reportedly downplayed the danger. hoping things would improve. Experts note that crimes involving unborn children often stem from fixation, delusion, or a desire for control. In this case, prosecutors allege that obsession escalated into violence when reality threatened the plan. The legal proceedings were equally harrowing. In court, prosecutors laid out evidence step by step: communications, medical findings, timelines, and witness testimony. They painted a picture of a calculated act designed to steal a child and erase the mother. Defense attorneys attempted to challenge the narrative, arguing mental instability, emotional distress, and lack of intent. But prosecutors countered that planning and execution demonstrated clear awareness and purpose. The jury ultimately sided with the prosecution. Rebecca Park's mother was convicted on multiple charges, including murder. Her husband was also convicted for his role in Rebecca's death. During sentencing, the judge addressed the gravity of the betrayal. He described the crime as beyond comprehension and emphasized that the trust between parent and child had been weaponized. Rebecca's name was spoken repeatedly in the courtroom, a reminder that behind every charge and legal term was a young woman who trusted the people who destroyed her. In the aftermath, advocacy groups renewed calls for better protections for pregnant women facing family pressure and abuse. Experts emphasize that violence during pregnancy often goes underreported and underestimated. This case became a stark example of how danger doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from those closest to us. Today, Rebecca Park is remembered not for the way she died, but for the life she was trying to create. Friends describe her as loving, gentle, and excited about motherhood. Vigils held in her memory focused not on hatred, but on awareness, urging others to recognize warning signs and speak out before it is too late. The tragedy of this case lies not only in its violence, but in its preventability. Investigators believe that earlier intervention, honest conversations, and attention to behavioral red flags might have saved her life. Rebecca's story now serves as a painful reminder. Trust should never blind us to danger, and family does not always mean safety. Justice, in this case, came through accountability. But for Rebecca, justice came too late. And for the world watching, her story stands as one of the most chilling examples of betrayal, not by strangers, but by those who should have loved her most.